This probiotic that I was introduced to 20 years ago has now got a history of about 45 years. Most probiotics on the market are just a bunch of bacterial strains that have been thrown together. Whether or not those bacterial strains know each other, cooperate, or do anything is up in the air. It's diversity that keeps us healthy. I might also mention that we have more bacteria than we have cells in the body, to just give you an idea that bacteria are what give us life. If we didn't have bacteria, we would have no life.
Hi everyone, my name is Sana and I come to you from Nelson, New Zealand. And today I am joined by Brooke, who I have met through several different things in life, but most recently we are doing a business course together, which is giving us so many beautiful tools. And I want to start highlighting people in my life, and Brooke is one of them. So, kia ora, Brooke, how are you today?
Oh, kia ora. I am so honored to be here with you, Sana, and I can't wait to get into this conversation. And I too feel exactly the same way. So thank you.
Thank you. So, you have got a product that you are very passionate about, and I know the importance of looking after our gut health. And even though I've never tried your product because we don't live in the same country, unfortunately, but it is all to help support our gut health with a probiotic. Can you please tell us more about your product?
Absolutely. So gut health is actually becoming an issue that people are starting to pay attention to. The product that I sell, I was originally introduced to back in 2004, when nobody was really talking about gut health. And a friend who owned the business got in touch with me because I was in the alternative health industry and wanted to introduce me to a probiotic. And of course, I had no idea what a probiotic was, but she was really passionate about this particular probiotic. So I started taking it and immediately felt uh, a lot of things happened, but I did not understand probiotics. I knew about vitamin C and calcium and magnesium and all the other dietary supplements that everybody hears about. But I got very involved with the probiotic over the last 20 years of taking this product, because I've actually been on the product for 20 years. And it took me about 10 years to understand it, number one. Then I also started giving it to my animals and saw massive results with them, dogs, horse, etc. So the gut is the foundation for multiple, you could almost say everything in our body.
Mm.
In fact, it was, I think, Hippocrates who said that all disease starts in the gut. And I concur with that, because when you start to look at every system in the body, there is a gut-brain relationship, there is a gut-immune relationship, there is a digestive system that is the most obvious for people when they talk about their gut. There's also the intuitive side. People talk about having a gut feeling. So without going into too much detail, everything starts in the gut. And what is the gut? The gut is our digestive system from top to bottom. And if we understand that the food we used to eat was biologically very active. Now, what that means is that it was bacterially very active. So when a plant grows from fertile soil, There's all sorts of bacteria, minerals, vitamins, amino acids that are taken up into the plant. And when we eat them, we get the benefit of all these wonderful things. And that's one of the things that keeps us healthy, keeps our digestion going, keeps our, everything else functioning well in the body. And what invariably happens when our food is dead is that there's nothing in it. And I could tell you that there has been a war on bacteria for the last few decades, from antibiotics and on and on and on. So our food no longer has a lot of this bacterial activity, which means it is no longer in our, when we eat it, it's no longer there to do its job. This probiotic that I was introduced to 20 years ago has now got a history of about 45 years. It was originally developed by a macrobiologist, a biologist whose entire orientation was studying bacteria. He created what is called a consortia. Now, a consortia is a community. Why do I even mention that? Most probiotics on the market are just a bunch of bacterial strains that have been thrown together. Whether or not those bacterial strains know each other, cooperate, or do anything is up in the air, because they are grown individually, not together over 8 weeks to create a community. So these bacteria are foreign bacterial strains to the body. They used to be in our food, and you want diversity in your digestive system because it's diversity that keeps us healthy. I might also mention that we have more bacteria than we have cells in the body, to just give you an idea that bacteria are what give us life. If we didn't have bacteria, we would have no life. So when they did the war on bacteria, which give us life, with antibiotics and everything else, they weren't taking into account the consequences that happen to all beings. And I mean that from soil to animals to humans.
Right. And just
Without
to jump in there, like, it's
Yes,
not just the
please.
antibiotics, because people are like, oh, I shouldn't, only in the worst case. At least here in New Zealand, people are starting to think about not just having antibiotics for the willy-nilly, but it's antibacterial soaps and
Oh my God,
disinfectants and
absolutely.
all
Yes.
those sprays that are being used,
Thank you.
the Roundup, all that kills all. Sure, it kills the bad, but it
Yes.
also kills the good that are really supportive of our well-being.
Oh, Sana, I'm so glad you brought that up, because glyphosate in Roundup is a perfect example. Glyphosate, when it was invented, it was invented and they said, this is an antibiotic, and it was put on a shelf. It was brought back because it was beneficial to Monsanto to bring it back. But you're absolutely right. This is the war on bacteria that has been conducted on this planet. And what we're trying to do, or at least what I'm trying to do, is to repair this, because this macrobiologist who invented this consortia, what really he did was he created a product that is nature's gift to humanity. That's what I call it. These are soil-borne organisms. They come from the soil, and they were inherent in our food and in everything else. So now we have the ability to actually take them to start restoring our guts, which desperately need restoring. Because if you start to think that all disease starts in the gut, then it's terrain. If the environment is not beneficial, then nothing grows, nothing happens. But if you have a healthy terrain, then everything grows, everything functions, everything works. And that's really what this probiotic does. I stopped selling the probiotic and only have just gotten back into selling it because we went down the avenue of wanting to put it in our soil to grow nutritionally beneficial food. But the gut problems were so prevalent and everywhere that I thought it's just a shame. I need to bring this to the public and have people actually try it, just try it, because one of the reasons that you and I are also talking is because I feel that going forward, health is going to take on a whole new, well, it's going down a completely different path. And what if you could actually muscle test whether or not a product is good, neutral, or, not good for you?
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be amazing? So
absolutely. Yep.
this is one of the reasons that I think I've never known anybody who's tested this product on themselves who has not found it to be highly beneficial. So that's another thing. But yes, no, please ask me some more questions. I hope I'm not just,
Rambling. No, not at all.
rambling.
I think we've become so blasé, and I often have conversations about the how we as a society have been pushed into going the easy route. And I don't have any pets right now, but I do understand that, you have to look after them as well. I'm very bad at gardening, but I again know the importance of having healthy soil. You've got blood and bone in the soil to really make sure that all the critters, from minuscule to the worms that you can see, that they are healthy. But if we
Yes.
take it to the busy life of a parent, I have 2 young children, and I think society have just made it that we have to go the easy route. So we take the packaged lunches with the crisps and the muesli bars and the whatever that are full with preservatives. We just buy the bread off the shelf. Here in New Zealand, it is now law that they have to put folic acid in it. It is being pushed through the government that fluoride is going to be put through all water in the whole of the country. It's no longer the
Oh, no.
decision by the council. And there are a lot of councils here in New Zealand that already put fluoride in the water. So we are having lots and lots of fights that we can make our own decision. But it's the people are too busy, they are run ragged. And so the thought of making their own bread or their own muesli bar or making a delicious pasta sauce from scratch, and it's just tomatoes, it's just these
Right.
3, 4, 5 ingredients. Instead, there's this jar with just line after line after line. And then we are wondering, like, why can't I get over this cold? Or why can't I get rid of this ache in my back? I had a surgery not long ago, and I recovered so quickly. I was able to stop the heavy pain meds, I think 3 days after. And I credit my health for that. And sure, I still have the chippies and the ice cream every now and again, but I've limited a lot of fast foods, not just McDonald's, but really the packaged foods, out of my diet because I want to take control. And I think by giving people something like a really good probiotic, then they are able to take their control back of their gut health, which is, as you started, it is the baseline
Foundation. Yes.
foundation for our health. Yeah.
Oh, Sana, I'm so glad you brought all that up because I can relate to all of that. When I had younger children and I was all exhausted and they were really hungry and you wanted to get the food on the table, and I had a microwave back then because I didn't know any better, or, all these things. And so what I'd like to actually do is just tell you, when I look back over the last 20 years and I think about how my health has been in relation to my peers. So in the last 20 years, I've been sick twice.
Wow.
And that's it. That's all that has ever happened to me. So I don't see that my health has been super strong, because I've had dips where my energy, or I've been around more toxic, or my eating habits have been terrible. But what I can tell you is that my baseline, that foundation that we're talking about, has been very consistent. I can honestly tell you that I never experienced a single hot flash during menopause, nothing.
Wow.
So I hear all these horrible things that so many women are going through. And I was looking back now, it's not that the probiotic is the only thing that I have taken, because off and on I will supplement with certain other things. And I have a very basic arsenal of believing, I have magnesium that I also take, and I do iodine as well. As a female, I think iodine is extremely important. And once in a while, I'll add other things, but a constant that I never miss is the probiotic. So all I have is my own personal experience. And quite honestly, I'm results oriented. So I don't really care about all these research papers and everything else that's out there, because I don't really trust them. But if a result is consistent in humans, animals, and soil, then I don't feel that there's anything to discuss, because this is not anecdotal. This is absolute, across the board, consistent results. And that's one of the things that nobody can argue about this product. But you're absolutely right. Our lives are fast paced, and certainly with young children, it's even more stressful. And our children need these. Our women who are getting pregnant, I mean, they need to actually be on a probiotic before they get pregnant, because that flora is passed on to the children in delivery. And if your gut issues are prevalent before you get pregnant and then have the child, it can cause some issues. Anyway, we're sort of off course. I am just back to, again, gut is so important. It's all about the microbiome.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you started giving it to your pets. I think there might be some people out there that are quite interested in that. How, first off, what pets do you have, or did you have at the time, and what kind of changes did you notice in their well-being?
Okay, so the very first pet I gave it to was my horse. And I gave it to my horse in 2006, and he was born in 2002. He's 22 years old right now. And we moved from South Carolina to Colorado. So South Carolina is incredibly hot and humid and buggy and everything else. And Colorado is extremely dry and has very, can get rather cold. So the temperatures vary a lot. And my horse is the healthiest horse in the barn. He has been on this product every single day. He doesn't get wormed, because I've had him tested, and he doesn't need worming, because this product also gets rid of heavy metals, parasites, one could say viruses. It has a detoxifying effect for any kind of things that don't belong. So that's my horse. And then I have 5 German short-haired pointers, 5 dogs. Yes, I'm insane. And they've all been on it, and they're just shiny coats, wonderful. My oldest is 10, and everybody takes him for being one of the youngest. I mean,
Awesome.
he is just he's full of energy. The other, so, and everybody is very healthy is the answer. All of us. So yeah, across the board, but cats can also take it. Now, just to give you an idea, we decided to do a trial on giving it to chickens and to turkeys, and the results were off the chart. We got jumbo eggs. I mean, all jumbo eggs that actually tasted like a superfood.
Wow.
I mean, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Their poop was reduced by 20%. They ate 20% less food,
Wow.
and the eggs were enormous. The turkeys and the broilers, that we made, we were told that the meat was the best that some people had ever had, and they grew so big, it was ridiculous. So it was on agricultural. We were thinking about what would happen if we gave it to goats and sheep and everything. It could completely revolutionize the industrial. I don't know how bad it is in New Zealand, but here in the United States, what they're doing with animals is horrific. That's a whole nother
Yeah,
conversation.
I kind of just put my blinkers on and I don't really
Yes,
think about
I
it.
know
Although,
we have to.
yeah, I've heard people say that New Zealand relatively, I mean, I could be proven wrong, is not as bad as some other countries. Um, Again, why have we let it happen that we have to pay more to eat organic, from your
Ugh, I
vegetables
couldn't
to
agree
your
more.
fruit to your if you are eating meat, it costs so much more to eat food that hasn't been sprayed or manipulated in a bad
I
way. It's
know. Isn't that nuts? It's really
Yeah,
nuts.
it is.
Well,
It's
and
very
I can tell
frustrating.
you, I don't I'm not, I eat everything, including sugar at times. I am not this, perfect food eater, but I know that when I take my gut product that I'm being safe. Now, I'm not saying that it gives you the leeway to be really bad, because we all would do better if we were conscious of what we were eating.
That's right.
But it certainly gives me that room.
Yeah. It's just that buffer layer, isn't it?
Yes,
It's just giving that, yeah. Yes. So we
exactly.
haven't actually mentioned the name. What is your
Oh,
product
yes.
called?
Yes, the product is called Wondrous Gut.
Yeah, I love that
So,
name.
oh, thank you. I started a company called Wondrous World because I wanted to create a wondrous world. And so everything is wondrous gut, wondrous food, wondrous pets, wondrous. So this is one of our first products, Wondrous Gut. And the website is actually, if I could say that,
Of
give a
course.
plug here. It's
Yeah.
www.wondrousgut.com. And we've been running, we've wanted to launch this product in a way that would entice people to try it, because there are so many gut products out there that how does anybody differentiate anything? So we put together a 90-day, so 3-month Wondrous Gut Health Challenge with a money back guarantee. So you take this product for 3 months, and if you do not notice a difference in your gut, we will refund the money. Now, one of the things we always like to mention is that if you have a live blood analysis before you start this product, and then after 90 days, you have another live blood analysis, you will see a radical change in your blood cells, your red blood cells. So it is a wonderful way for people who want that visible sort of credibility to do that. And I'm pretty sure they have live blood tests in New Zealand.
Probably,
Yes.
yes.
And they're not very expensive, and most, a lot of people just kind of do them. So that is available.
I think that's such a good validation, right? Because they're like, oh, am I losing weight because I'm eating more conscious? Or, it's sometimes our mind is so strong with the placebo effect. But if you have a physical laboratory result before and after, and you can clearly see the improvement of your health of your blood, I mean,
Exactly.
that is
No, that's
awesome.
so beautifully put. I had a gentleman who actually wrote me and said, I'd really like to write a review, having taken the gut product, but I changed my diet at the same time that I started your product. And I said, well, so here's my recommendation: stop taking the gut product.
Mm.
And he said, but I don't want to stop taking the gut product. I said, well, the only way you will know what effect it has had on you is by stopping. And eventually he did. And so he wrote back, he said, well, it took 3 days. And I realized that without the gut product, change of diet, a little less discomfort. With the gut product and change of diet, huge benefit. It's
How
so
good.
funny.
That is so
Uh,
good.
oh, thank you for bringing that up.
That's yeah, I mean, the placebo effect is so strong. We can make ourselves better and really unhealthy way by the way we think. But I think for me, that again comes back to that gut feeling, that gut brain relationship. And the more that we really look after our gut health, I think that connection becomes stronger and stronger. And just for your reference, bowel cancer in New Zealand is horrendous. We
What?
have a lot of people that are diagnosed, and it is pretty much a terminal disease. It's horrendous,
Wow.
and it's starting younger and younger as well. And
Oh,
people will be like, "Oh, it's the meat, or it's the this," and I think it is a combination of the war on bacteria, but also our mind. We are being so conditioned to not really acknowledge our emotions. And that for me, the seat of the emotion is in the gut. And if we don't deal with
absolutely.
our emotions, then again, that placebo, we make ourselves sick.
Oh,
Um,
Sana, you're so right. So just to add to that, because I do think going forward, we are going to get away where we will be able to cure ourselves and keep ourselves healthy energetically, from it will be a complete, we'll be looking back at all the things that we've been accepting as being okay and the norm now, and we'll think that is prehistoric. But we're bridging right now. And this is, to me, a product that is absolutely foundational. It affects mental health. It's perfectly said by you, because the serotonin is a hormone that is produced in the gut. And so if we are keeping our guts at a point where there isn't an overbalance of bad bacteria, then, because it's all about balance, everything, to me, everything in life is about balance. We're all trying to get to balance, and we're all a little off kilter. But this is the job of this product, is to restore balance in the body. So it is, and that's what you're talking about, because if I mean, I'm pretty horrified to hear that about New Zealand. I had no idea, but this is a start. This
mm.
is something that starts that restoration process. And So I just so appreciate your allowing me to bring this to the attention of people, to know that there is a product out there and it has a lot of history behind it and a ton of science. So I am, needless to say, passionate about getting this to people, because I know what it can do to start that healing journey. And so thank you
No,
so much.
I think it is so important to let everyday people like yourself to have a voice, and that's one of the reasons why I've really wanted to start doing this, by just having a conversation. I wish we were sitting at the same table enjoying a coffee
Oh,
or a
me
cup of tea.
too. Absolutely. And I
Yes.
think you're brilliant at this. So,
Thank you.
I love the Sana show. Seriously. No, honestly.
We shall see where it takes us next. So for people to get in touch with you, the best way is to go to wondrousgut.com. And I believe you also have a Facebook page. People can find you there. And
Exactly.
you're on YouTube with a few
Instagram.
videos,
Yes.
Instagram as well. So there's lots of ways for people to get in touch. Where do you ship, just within the United States, or do you ship
So
outside?
so you know, I have actually shipped quite a bit of product to New Zealand. Yes, I think about 3 or 4 months ago. And we're looking to potentially have somebody who would act as a distributor in New Zealand. We have somebody in mind that we've been talking to as well.
Right.
But it's wonderful if a few people get together, and that's what happened. I think 3 or 4 people got together and put in a big order, and that way the whole thing got shipped and one person distributed it out to people. So
And
yes,
so the United States, Canada, that's just easy. Someone just orders through your website and it gets there within the week, kind of thing.
exactly. And we have a person in the UK.
Yep.
And and New Zealand is the other place. So ironically, isn't that wild? But
Yes,
I'm married to a Kiwi,
that's
so
right. You are. Yes.
I have a special place in my heart for New Zealand too. I love the country. I think it's an
Mm,
absolutely glorious place.
yes, I feel
And
very,
Nelson in particular,
I
I
know, I
love
know.
Nelson.
So if there's anyone watching from Australia or India or another country, they just have to get in touch and go, I want to order X amount, and get the ball rolling. I think what you're
Exactly.
doing, Brooke, is amazing. And it's actually the stories of the animals that really convince me, because they can't, it's truth
Exactly.
for them. They're, the fact that those jumbo eggs tasted like superfood, that's for me all the proof that I would need. Right. So do
Yes.
you just give them a powder in the water when you give it to the
Yes,
animals?
well, we actually did it in the food.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we put it in their food, and it doesn't take very much. So it was just, I mean, the results were staggering. It was so amazing. I was thrilled. It was
That's
like
great.
we were equally shocked. It was like, oh my God, but everything on this planet is suffering from gut problems
Mm,
because of what's been sprayed, every which way. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
It's been all about this war on bacteria. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's start by changing our gut. So thank you so much, Brooke, for coming on and telling us your story. And I look forward to seeing how your journey goes from here.
Oh, Sana, thank you so much. This was such an honor and a pleasure. I'm so grateful. Thank you
You're welcome.
for getting this word out.
Of course.